Globe's version of Canada's East Coasters. Okay, if you have spent any time on the East Coast of Canada, and this is certainly...
Check back at second, and the ball gets away into the outfield. Coming around third and stopping there is Misaki. McGovern came up throwing Lance, and Harrow covering the collision at second base. Here's a look.
Well, that's why you're not always sure. If you can't get that runner, I understand you're trying to keep him close, but it's so easy for something like that to happen. And when you talk about teams of this caliber, that can be the difference between a run, which could be the difference in the game. We've seen one thing lead to another and another, and that's kind of the way that one unfolded.
Throwing error charge to Josh McGovern. Kataoka fouls that away into the grandstand here on the first base side. Well-populated grandstand on the first base side.
Shortage of getting people into Prime Minister's Park. It has been a popular place to be from the morning. You can tell when they open up the gates because people come flooding in. It's a real pleasure to see.
Besgrove working ahead 1 and 2. He's got 2 runners behind him in scoring position and just 1 out. He'll be looking for a strikeout. And he won't get it there as Kataoka stays alive.
Well, Japan, an excellent contact hitting team, and that's part of their skill set, and that's going to make it difficult on Besgrove no matter how well he's throwing, because they've seen and haven't even gone through the order one time, but they're really making him work for every out.
Change up to the fence, big bounce. Misaki is going to get back and take out Besgrove, and now McGovern goes right at Misaki, and here come the players off both benches.
Well, that situation, and I know we just talked about what great sports both of these teams are and countries are, and you can see, I think, now that cooler heads are going to prevail. I think you come out to protect your guy. McGovern was doing that. After the push, though, nothing escalated. There were no punches thrown, just a little bit of pushing and shoving. We've seen this go a lot worse, and really and truly, Besgrove shouldn't be there. He's coming for the flip, but when the flip didn't come, you gotta step back and allow that runner to slide in safely, and I think that's where he may have taken offense to that. Certainly where McGovern took offense, you take out your ace, you better believe that someone's gonna be there to remind you that that can't happen, and you can see that clearly on the slide. No intent to hurt anyone, but it's just an unfortunate collision.
Well, veteran umpire crew with home plate umpire Mike Burwell is going to call everyone together here and let everyone know what happens. Now McGovern goes back at Misaki. All the Australian players are still on the field. There's another look.
As you can see, and I'll tell you, if there aren't the 2 largest umpires in international game, in Burwell and Roosh out there, I think that maybe things might have escalated, but Mike Burwell did an unbelievable job in creating some space in that pile and giving them a chance to not pile up on top of the runner, and just, I think, did all he could to try to get that fire to smolder a bit.
Well, a little bit of excitement for everybody.
Well, it just goes to show you that, yes, fair play, but both these 2 teams playing very hard, and there's no shortage of trying. I got a feel for Mike Burwell. He has had one heck of a time from getting here, issues, day 1 issues, yesterday issues, and now today he's in the thick of things.
We are gonna see, I believe, at least one ejection.
I think if there is going to be an ejection, it's probably going to be McGovern would be my guess. But again, when you have a melee like that, you're not quite sure where to look and who's doing what in that crowd. But as we take another look at it, the carom goes right off the pole. That's why, and you can see that McGovern initially, when it hit the pole, was going one way, it went the other, so he had to dive to try to save it, and you can see that
McGovern has been tossed. He's got his gear off, and a technical commissioner from the WBSC will escort him away from the playing surface.
What do we call that? Coach's jail? Is that where he's headed? Coaches are playing. I'm not quite sure, but...
Okay, so we're not sure if anyone on the Japanese side has been removed from the game, but Ethan Field will take over behind home plate for Australia. It's also 1-0 for Japan,
which really is more important in this scenario, that Masaki came in and slid under that tag. It's a tough run to give up. My question is, where does Yasumi go?
To third, I would presume.
Because he would have went to third anyway on that wild pitch.
I believe the count will be full.
Where does Yasumi go?
Once we
third, I
play.
would presume. So that's what it looks like. I think you.
And the fact that Mike Titteridge is staying on the field to voice his displeasure will indicate to me that Australia is coming out of this with more trouble. And it's possible, Lance, that there could be members of the coaching staff removed as well.
And that's where the aftermath is, where, you know, we're not privy. We can oversee what's happening, but we can't see the little things that might go on off to the side when you're looking at something, or when the scrum ensues, or when things move back and who did what. And Titteridge can argue that it looks to me like if the chances are, if there's going to be someone else thrown, it would be from the Aussie side, but they've already tossed McGovern, which we sort of speculated would happen. And maybe Titteridge is just saying, well, a lot went on. How come we're the only ones that have someone thrown at the game and not them? I think if you watch the replay, you'll see why. And you can tell that Mike Burwell's adamant about what he's seen and what he's calling, and that's what he's explaining.
Burwell has said the explanations have been issued. Let's get on with this game. So what we can confirm for you, we can confirm that Josh McGovern has been ejected and Ethan Field is the new catcher for Australia. Everything else, we will need to confirm with you in a few moments. Titteridge is being brought back toward the dugout. Mike Burwell has gone to talk with our technical commissioners on the first base side of the field.
Well, I mean, Chris, from our vantage point here, I've got to say hats off and all the credit to the umpiring crew, because they really did a good job in handling that situation the only way you can, and trying to de-escalate it as soon as it happens. That was the big deal. Burwell jumped right into the middle of that as soon as McGovern gave the push, and made sure that a couple of the guys who immediately jumped in to create the scrum weren't able to meet up with each other. And that, I think, was a big part in why there may only be one ejection.
Team Australia, number 72, Ethan Field.
So Ethan Field has to get ready quickly. Kataoka remains at the plate. One run in for Australia. and the count is 2-2. Low ball 3.
Well, in all that, glad that Besgrove's okay because
Absolutely.
he went down awkwardly
Yes.
after getting his feet taken out from under him on the slide.
Ripped into right field. This is fair down the line. Kanaoki is around first. Yasumi's in to score, and it's an RBI double and a 2-0 lead for Japan.
Well, you know what? Kateoka, he sat on that pitch and he drove that down the line. That was a rope. And on his horse to get the second standing up, but it's all about the clutch hit. We just won out, and after all that, to rebound, impressive. Japan with a 2-run lead.
So that'll bring up Sei Kuroiwa. First pitch swinging, Kuroiwa comes up empty. He's looking for his first hit. He has been hit by a pitch and stole a base, but he has not gotten on the fun way here in Prince Albert.
Well, we've seen Japan struggle sometimes, and then there are times when every single player 1 through 9 seems to be an immediate threat.
Kuroiwa will try and sneak down a bunt. Nothing there. No balls and 2 strikes.
Then a good job to get on that, get it in quick to prevent that run from scoring. But you look now at the bottom of the order, 6, 7, 8, all with hits after that little melee. And we said that in order for Japan to be a threat going forward, they need some complementary help.
Runner goes, looking to induce a throw. They will let Kuroiwa take second base on defensive indifference. And now runners at second and third, just 1 out.
I think they've been trying to get Okawa going here offensively. He struggled a bit in these last 2 games.
Okawa had a big home run. His only hit of the 20. Confirmation that the only rejection, Lance, was Josh McGovern. Changeup fools Kawa, 1-2.
That was a beauty pitch there from Besgrove. I think he snuck that foot right in between there. I think what happened was I think Field is back too far in the plate, and that's what allowed the foot to get in.
Australia is going to challenge this, but from our vantage point high above home plate, it looked to me, and Mike Burwell was right on top of it, that the runner gets in. Lance, what do you think?
Well, I think the runner is in, and we'll take see the ball's there, but you can see the foot is there before the tag, because Field is back on the plate and not right in front of that part. it'll be interesting. I think it's going to have to be very conclusive to overturn it. Probably a good challenge, though, by Australia. You got to do something here to try to slow down Japan. They seem to be getting more and more momentum every batter.
Yeah, the difference between the Major League Baseball challenge system and the WBSC is that the teams do not have monitors or electronic communications in their dugouts, so they're going to what they see. Now, the throw is there well ahead of the runner, Karaoke.
This might be our best angle, and you can see, so foot in there, and I think he's 100% safe. So that was a very good angle, great work by our production crew to get us the best look at that, and I think that's going to stand. I think that's just a good call by plate umpire Mike Burwell.
They do have more angles. Nothing we saw there was conclusive in terms of seeing the foot touch the plate as such, but they will be able to zoom in. They have other angles that we don't have.
Well, I think you do see, though, that the foot is there before the tag comes down, because you see the bend right there means he's touched that plate, and I think that's what the call. Burwell's in a perfect position to make that call. Certainly a better vantage point than us. We do have the benefit of the video replay, which is, I'd probably take that any day, but definitely taking a little bit longer to decide, and I think the importance of it and the magnitude of it warrants that.
Yeah, it's clearly not a cut and dry review, as it's taken a little bit longer than if it was.
Well, it's different because there's dirt on the plate too, right? So from that angle, you're not 100% sure. It's not like you said Major League Baseball, where clearly you can see that white plate and that contrast. Here, a lot of times when there's action, that dirt will cover that plate and it looks like one big brown area.
So while we wait, I think to your point, Australia's looking for something to turn the momentum right now. Whether that's winning a challenge, whether it's anything, because it is starting to spiral a bit for the Steelers. There's another look, Lance. This is a little further away.
Well, we saw this, and in this angle, you can see the ball's there in plenty of time. But if you look right there, I think he touches the corner of that plate before the tag makes contact with the foot. Again, I'm no Kyle Smith, former umpire. So, but just from my vantage point, that's what I think I saw. And from the other angle that we had, to me, it looked that way as well. So we'll see. These are the guys with the decision.
We've got a verdict. And the runner's out at the plate. So it is a good challenge. And again, maybe the foot was up off the ground, anything at all. And that's a big break for Australia.
Sure is. So that run does not score. It's only a 2-0 lead. Runners still at second and third.
So out at the plate, 3-2 is Karaoke.
It'll be interesting to hear what umpires takes of that after this game, what they thought, what they were thinking.
Skied by Yamamoto. This is trailing back, and gone! Jay Yamamoto with a 3-run home run, 5-0 Japan.
Boy, you talk about momentum. That's a funny thing. And got the call overturned, but Yamamoto stayed tough, expected Besgrove to try to jump out in front, and he launched that ball high into the deepest part of this park, straightaway center. So impressive at bat, impressive result.
A 5-run bottom of the second for Japan off Jack Besgrove. And now with the bases clear, Yusuke Morita will step in, and he rips one foul down the right field side. And Besgrove not fooling anybody here in this inning.
Well, no, and that's the thing about this Japanese team. Once one gets it, 2-3, they get a couple of back-to-back hits. Boy, they have come into this game with the right mentality. This looks like the Japan team that we've expected to see here this week.
Nice change-up out of the hand of Besgrove, and he's ahead 0-2.
This tournament continues to allow the unexpected to be expected.
Morita watches for ball 1. After the start that Japan had to this tournament, as well as their performance in Saskatoon at the pre-tournament, it's been a complete 180.
We've seen a lot of weird things since that full moon showed up a couple nights ago. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to expect this next inning, let alone later tonight or tomorrow.
Morita sends this one out into the left center field gap. This is going to get down off the base of the wall. Morita's around second, thinking about third, but he'll hold up. And it's another hit off Jack Besgrove here in the second inning.
Well, you know, you're still talking about one of the best pitchers in the world. Besgrove today may not be his day, though, and that's a situation where Tetheridge coming out, and again, and I mean, physically he looks okay, but whether or not that collision may have sort of rattled him just a bit or something along those lines, he just wasn't the same after that, and Japan certainly took advantage.
Japan has knocked Australian ace Jack Besgrove out of the game in the bottom of the second. We'll take a quick break here, and we'll be back with more of the WBSC Men's Softball World Cup as Marshall Cronk makes his way to the mound. Marshall Cronk will take over on the mound. We were just talking about that last inning, Lance, but none of us expected to see him out there today.
No, and he's got a monumental task now of trying to settle things down and get this final out here. I'd imagine that the Aussies can't get to that dugout quick enough now and reset just a bit. Seems like this inning has gone on forever. And we'll see now if Cronk can't settle in.
5 hits for Japan this inning, 1 error from Australia. And the 9th batter of the inning to come to the plate is Koki Sato.
Sato grounded into that double play to end the first. Things look real good defensively for the Aussies.
He swings through, but that's up and over Ethan Field, so it'll be a strike, but it'll also be a wild pitch. And Morita will move 60 feet closer to home.
You can bet that Japan's going to want to try and cash this run here. I don't expect to see a run rule come into effect anytime soon, but the way Japan is trying to put together some runs here. Right now, first time through the order was a charm. We'll see what happens now going forward.
Yeah, I think you're right on the piece about cashing in the run. There's never enough, as we saw in the Canada-Venezuela game last night. Sato trying to get out of the way of that pitch. And now Mike Burwell's got a few words for Ethan Field. A wild bottom of the second sees Japan jump out to a 5-0 lead over Australia here in a game where the winner advances to the Super Round. Okay, so here we go. Top of the third inning. Riley James, Matthew Harrow, and Kynan Melander are due up for Australia. Lance, it's still only the top of the third inning. There's a lot of softball to be played. But if you're Australia, how do you get back in the right mind frame here?
Well, I think you take it at one at bat at a time. And I know that sounds like a real cliche, but I think you worry about, number one, trying to make solid contact against Aikita. You haven't really done that up to this point. As I look at my sheet and, you know, I see 6 batters faced and 4 strikeouts. So Aikita's been dominant that way. I think you have to first start with making some contact, putting the ball in play, and getting a base runner. After that, maybe trying to push 1 run across just to get your confidence back, and all the while holding. And that's what I think is going to be the real challenge, is not so much worrying about can you get to Aikita. It's right now, can you slow down the Japan offense? That is what's really doing the damage. Your ace is no longer with you, so.
And there's a start. Riley James will take one in on the hands and send it back the other way. The first hit of the night for Australia.
And that's the start I'm talking about. You got to take baby steps here, and I think it would be really big for the Aussies if they were, at the very least, able to get a runner in scoring position. That puts the threat out there, and even if they don't score, they're still fighting back, and that gives you, you know, a little bit as far as morale goes, a bit of a boost that could go a long way to helping. Again, it's about holding Japan down now.
Harrow slaps it toward the left side. Masaki, tough play on the first. Stretch from Toriyama, and there's one down.
That's just a good defensive play there, as on the run. And no time, had to get rid of this thing in a hurry as Harrow runs well. Ball had to come down, basket catch, but just in the nick of to get the out.
So Kynan Melander with a runner now at second, and Riley James after the ground out.
That works like a sacrifice bunt anyway, sure, the runner.
Rise ball from Aikita is up and out of the zone. It's that off-speed rise ball he's been throwing. That hits Melander. And now 2 runners on for Australia.
Well, again, not a lot, but a couple of runners, base runners on is certainly something positive for the Aussies. And now that you've got a runner in scoring position, the best answer you could deliver would be to be able to cash at least one. Get yourself on the scoreboard.
Well, Scott Patterson has a home run here this week for Australia.
Well, if ever there was a time that the top of the order needed to step up for the Aussies, now is the time.
If you can answer back with a couple here, then you're back in the ball game. On the ground, Okawa to second, Yasumi for one, on to first, not in time to get Patterson.
No, and unfortunately, ball hit hard, just not to where there was no defender, and almost a double play, and that would have just sort of sucked the life right out of you if you're an Aussie fan.
The middle infielders for Japan were asking about the play at second. There's another look at it here.
Well, I think that's just a good slide on the pop-up. I don't think there's any ill intent.
I don't think there's anything in that either, Lance. First pitch to Callum Bichel is inside for a ball. So Riley James moves down to third, and Melander is retired on the fielder's choice.
I think Bichel needs to get going. He needs to be a part of this offense.
Rise ball for a ball.
I think it's pretty safe to say that the Aussies are in that transition period, going from your veterans to the guys that were coming up. They are now becoming the leaders. And a younger crop coming up from the bottom up.
Ripped to the left side, and there's Callum Bichel coming to the plate for you, Lance. Aussies on the board now, 5-1.
Well, that's a huge hit, not just for Callum Bichel, but for the Australian team. I mean, you go through that inning, you surrender 5, and you don't even put the pressure on the defense the next inning. That's going to keep the momentum on the side of Japan. So a good job to show some fight back, and that's really nothing we don't expect from the Aussies. They're not going to lay down for anyone, and a good job there to get his team on the board.
James Todhunter hit a long fly ball to left last time, and this is going to be just out of the reach of Okawa. Coming around third and standing up scoring is Scott Patterson. And it's now 5-2.
Well, you know what? We asked for the top of the order to start delivering. A little melee happens, and all of a sudden now, after going 1, 2, 3 in the first inning, they stand and deliver, cash in another run. And all of a sudden, the deficit's just 3.
And Marshall Cronk, representing the tying run, comes to the plate. Bichel at second after the Todhunter single. Cronk swings over for strike one.
Well, if you're Aikita in Japan, you got to be careful here, because if Kronk loses one, all of a sudden all that work that you did in that great start has gone out the window. You're almost starting from scratch, and the Aussies would have the momentum.
They're going to check down back at second, and they have almost picked off Callum Bichel. Doesn't get any closer than that.
It doesn't, and not that you would ever see an argument from Japan, but this replay on a good snap throw from the knees right over the head of Aikita, and I thought he had him. That's pretty close. The question is, was it a phantom tag or did he really get him?
No real argument or ask for a challenge, so Okawa must have just missed. Throw was there.
Sure was.
0-2, that was a strike on Marshall Kronk. And he'll swing through strike three. But an answer from the Aussie Steelers. They get two back and now trail by three as we go to the bottom of the third. Two up for Japan. It's Masaki, Toriyama, and Yasumi.
Stops, the standings, tournament schedule, and get the latest news. Mizuno is a WBSC partner and the official supplier of the tournament softballs and umpire uniforms. Be sure to tag us on social media using our official hashtag Softball World Cup M, and share your experience.
Plenty of excitement here at Prime Minister's Park in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Canada. But you got to be happy if you're Australia and Australian supporters with the response from your team there in the top of the third.
100%. I don't think you could have asked for a better answer besides putting up 5 yourself. But to chip back away, and just like we said when you asked me, what do they got to do? And they did exactly what you'd hope they would.
Masaki takes the first pitch from Kronk and sends it out of here on an express train to left field. And after getting hit by a pitch, Keito Masaki is making all the difference in this one.
Well, he didn't even let me get my thought out of my mouth. That thing was out of here in a hurry. That was a rope. I'm hoping there's not a fan out there hurt, and it's just the bleachers that took the punishment. But man, oh man, did he ever jump on that pitch. He certainly got exactly what he was expecting.
So that'll bring up Kazuya Toriyama. The lead now 4 for Japan.
When you talk about answers, what do you do when a team puts up 5, you get 2? What do you do when someone puts 2 up on you? Well, immediately you get 1 back right away and nullify one of those and keep that gap manageable, up by 4.
Toriyama sends this one to left. It's going to be a tough play. Garland is going to get there, and it will be foul. Had it been fair, Garland would have had it.
Well, that ball tailing away was actually hit a lot further than I thought it was. Excuse me, initially I thought it was just going to be a regular fly ball, but it was very close to the warning track, and that was just with one arm, I think. I don't think Toriyama really extended the arms out.
Toriyama asked for time at the plate. In the dirt for a ball. So it'll be curious to me, Lance, as there's 2 pitchers throwing in the bullpen for Australia. One of them's a righty, so that's not Besgrove. I can't see the other. Do you ever get to a point where you want to put him back in?
Well, I'm a firm believer. If you have that luxury and you could pull to within striking distance, I think you do.
There's no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. It's got to be all hands on deck. And if you have access to your best pitcher, then you give him another crack. If worst case scenario, he's flat like he was earlier, and you know, you give up a couple. But I think he's your guy no matter what, and I think you got to stick with him regardless of the outcome. And if you get a chance to get him back in, you should consider yourself lucky, because that means someone on the rest of the team has done something to do that.
Cronk really wanted that call in the last pitch. Doesn't matter. He'll get Toriyama to chase. And it's the first strikeout of the evening for Marshall Cronk.
Well, that was a good decision to come right back with that same pitch against Toriyama. You could see, and again, another big, strong guy. And what do? You either go up and in or you go away. And they decide to go away with it, and that nullifies a lot of the power. And even if he was to get it like we saw, it would tail away and probably end up in foul territory.
Foul tip or a foul ball on the first pitch to Yasumi. A Canadian fan pulled that in and then made a perfect strike throw back to Cronk on the mound.
Yeah.
Keep this game moving. So a different battery entirely from what started the game for Australia. If you're just joining us and wondering what happened, well,
A lot.
rewind the clip, because it's been a lot. We had a collision at the plate which led to a Josh McGovern ejection. After that, Japan promptly hit Jack Besgrove around the park for 5 runs in the bottom of the second. Besgrove was then lifted with 2 out in the bottom of the second, and Marshall Cronk came on to pitch.
It's an impressive summary, sir. A lot quicker than it occurred.
On the ground, and that's taken on one bounce by James Todhunter, 2 down.
Again, Marshall Cronk making the right pitch at the right time. And again, you can get the sign. It's up to the pitcher to be able to find that location, and you can see that ball tailing up a bit, and a good job to induce the ground ball.
So Carioca, who was at the plate when the fireworks started and ended up with a double, is back for his second at-bat. Carioca was then gunned out at home by James Todhunter on a ground ball on the infield.
We have seen a lot in a short amount of time. Still haven't even played 3 complete innings.
Carioca on the ground is short. Melander across the diamond, and a clean inning for Marshall Cronk after the leadoff home run by Kato Masaki. So Japan gets one back and leads 6-2 after 3 innings here in Prince Albert. You're watching the WBSC Men's Softball World Cup Final on GameTime.sport.
Ryan King.
So Ryan King is into the game for Jeremy Garland and will lead things off here in the fourth. And that could be a tip that Garland would be getting loose lens.
Well, that's what I mentioned about having the luxury of a deep pitching staff, and sometimes the way things unfold, that sort of allows you to maybe go to some options that you weren't necessarily planning on, but again, always good to have that leeway.
King actually came in defensively in the last inning, so apologies for being late to that. 1-1 from Hiroki Aikida is low for ball 2.
Well, this is a big inning for Aikida. He needs to really come out with a clean inning and not give up anything to the Aussies, who are trying to build some momentum here.
Still 12 outs to work with if you're Australia. So plenty of time. Oh, that's off Aikida, but right to Okawa. It'll be a 1-6-3 put out, but man, that had to sting.
Well, I don't know how that could have felt good no matter what, because that was a rocket. But talk about taking a sweet hop, goes right to short, and a good job to corral it and a throw over in plenty of time to get the runner. That ball could have shot anywhere else but where it did, and landed right just up and in the armpit of Okawa, and was able to record the out. So I think they might have to come with the spray, Chris. I don't know if the ice is going to do it.
Yeah, old-fashioned ice bag on Aikida's shin there, and that's his right leg. So that's where he pushes. That's where he lands.
That could be, that's one of those injuries where you're going to feel it tomorrow, probably more so than today when you still got the adrenaline flowing.
Pretty sure he's feeling it. Might feel it more tomorrow.
But no, you're right. It's not going unfelt now.
Oh, and he just did one warm-up pitch. He says he's okay, but I'm not buying it.
Looked a little ginger there for someone who seems to be okay, but all right. Again, you're on the world stage here. You're playing for your country. It's going to take a lot to get you out of the game. And these guys are intense athletes, and see what he's got.
So Ethan Field will get his first at-bat after taking over for Josh McGovern in the second. And he's quickly down 0-2 to Hiroki Aikida.
Well, you can bet that both Kateoka and Akita know that Fields hasn't really had a chance to warm up much or had a feel. He just got thrown right into the fire.
And he swings through the drop ball. 3-pitch strikeout for Aikida after taking the comebacker.
Yeah, they didn't waste any time. They went right at Fields with this. And I think that's what you got to do to someone who's just come into the game. Good drop ball, way over top.
I'll bring up Riley James. He got everything started last inning with a leadoff single. Later came around to score the first Australia run. And Aikida falls behind 2-0.
Well, if you're Riley James, you want to stay hot.
Now 3-0.
So I think James sit back, take a pitch, and then maybe sit on something. But with the bases empty, you've got some leeway. The only problem is with a 3-0 count, you've got some leeway.
And a 4-pitch walk to Riley James. It was the bottom of the order that got things going for Australia last time around. And here they go again.
I'd like to see Matthew Harrow get a little more involved offensively. I think that as good a hitter as he is, he needs to step up. And that's awfully easy to say sitting up here. A guy should step up. A guy needs to really, be an impact player. Those are things, other factors are involved in that.
First pitch is a called strike in the outside corner to Harrow. He slapped it to Masaki at third base last time around.
Of course, Matthew Harrow, son of one of all-time great coaches for Australia, Lang Harrow. Does his work now on the women's side. Claims he's retired, but I'm not so sure he's truthful about that.
Legend of the game, been around forever. Everyone got to shut it down every now and again, Lance.
Well, you know what? It's you say that, but I think once you get that softball bug in your blood, it's real hard to just sort of put it down and move along. And the good thing about him is that when you got someone as knowledgeable and with the amount of experience that he has, you really want him to be able to share that and not let that go to the wayside.
2-1 count, and it's low and away to Harrow. So since being hit with the comebacker, Aikita did strike out Ethan Field on 3 pitches, but he walked Riley James on 4 and is now in a 3-1 count with Matthew Harrow. And that's inside, and I think it actually hit Harrow. That'll be a hit by pitch, not a walk. Regardless, runners at first and second now for Kine and Melander, and we're going to get a visit to the mound for Japan.
I think it warrants one, and I think you picked up on something as far as noticing that Aikita wasn't clearly 100% going back, even though he said he was okay. And he's taken off his arm sleeve but put his glove back on, so I'm not sure, but you can still tell if you're still moving and shaking that injury, then chances are you're still feeling it, and we can't really see anything different there on his delivery. He's not favoring any side, but
saw there as Harrow was running by, Aikita was going to apologize, but Harrow was already gone.
Yeah, that's just how polite they are.
So Melander steps in. He walked in his first plate appearance. Let's see if Hiroki Aikita can get back in the zone. On the ground, and it's a tough one. Yasumi, it fooled him for a little bit, but he managed to find it and make the play on to Toriyama. So Australia will threaten, but they'll leave 2 runners on here in the top of the 4th inning. The score remains Japan 6, Australia 2.
Reminder, 50-50s are on sale until 9:30 p.m. each day. 50-50s are on sale until 9:30 p.m. each day.
8-9-1 due up for Japan. Kuroiwa, Okawa, and Hamamoto. And the big 3-run home run from Tei Hamamoto is really the difference right now as we play in the bottom of the 4th.
See here now, another clean inning needed for Australia. They haven't gotten one since the 1st inning. Surrendered 5 in the 2nd and 1 in the 3rd. So it'll go a long way to helping the Australian cause. But once again, easier said than done.
The bats really have come alive for Japan yesterday and today against 2 of the best in the world, Marco Diaz and Jack Besgrove. So full marks to Japan. A team that a lot of people had kind of written off is not the Japan of the past coming in here.
No, and I think maybe it isn't the Japan of the past. Maybe it is the Japan of the future, might be a better way to put it. We only say that because for so long they were so consistent at what they did, and they did it so well. You came to expect contact hitters, slap hitters, great bunters, fundamentally sound, their defense flawless. Now they come in, they throw a little wrinkle here. You see what they've got with the shifting defense.
Full count pitch from Kronk is low and inside, and Kuroiwa will work a leadoff walk, and he reaches base for the 2nd time today.
Well, Kuroiwa has quietly gone about doing a really good job here. Again, in the middle of that mix earlier, but what he has done with single scored a run and now working a walk, he's making things challenging for the Aussies.
So that'll bring up the number 9 batter, Okawa. He puts down a bunt. Kronk fields it, shuffles it to the covering Harrow. 1 down.
Good job. I mean, lucky Kronk was able to get over there in time. A good sack bunt, though, from Okawa. And once again, so back to some small ball, and that's, again, what we used to see from Japan. You were almost guaranteed if they got a base runner that they were going to bunt him over and try to hit him in that way, manufacture a run. So they've gone back to that analogy. Now another runner in scoring position and a chance to add to their lead. Say what you want, but this guy Hamamoto has been a real handful in the first 3 games of this World Cup final.
He's got a chance to drive in another runner here, and he'll send it back up the box. Patterson comes up with the throw. It will be way too late to get Kuroiwa coming around 3rd. So make it 4 RBIs for Tei Hamamoto here this evening.
Well, I'm just saying that's just good fundamental softball right there, where you get a leadoff walk, you bunt him over, and then you knock him in. So sounds like a simple game, but it's all about the execution, and that was done to perfection by Japan.
That'll make it 7-2 with Yusuke Morita at the plate. He takes a first pitch just inside from Marshall Kronk.
Be interesting to see if they know that field is behind the dish, if they don't send the runner. Good speed in Hamamoto. Big long strides. It's down there in a hurry.
Foul ball by Morita, and the count is even now, 1-1.
Well, you talk about feeling it. Morita with 2 hits already in this game, and the way he's up there hacking, he's looking for his 3rd.
Single and a double, stranded both times. Excuse me, he was erased on the inning-ending double play, so that won't count as being stranded.
He was stranded at 3rd base if my scorecard is correct, which is always 50-50.
Morita gets into this one, sends it a long way. A quick peek from King, but you can forget about that. It's now 9-2 Japan, and the rout is on in Prince Albert.
Well, I told you the guy was swinging the bat well, and man, did he get a hold of that one. And And that ball was gone off the bat. So the answers provided. The Aussies came up to try to chip away, and Japan just decided that they were having none of it. And Marshall Cronk was not fooling anyone, and that will be the end of his day.
Third pitcher of the game on in relief for Australia. And as Matthew Beckett gets loose, we'll step away. You're watching the WBSC Men's Softball World Cup from Saskatchewan, Canada.
For Team Australia, number 33, Matthew Beckett. To the plate for Japan, number 1, Saito.
So Beckett takes over with one away. Bases are clear, and it will be the number 3 batter, Koki Saito, for Japan.
Well, the frying pan into the fire, certainly no relief.
Saito one hopper out to Melander at short. Nice play across the diamond for the second out.
I tell you, Melander, I like that kid's arm. Boy, he sure has a whole lot in it. Got over there, hard hit ball. As an infielder, you like it when it's hit hard right at you. And he sure stepped into that throw, made that one look routine.
Lots of good young players here. Melander, one of them, Khalil Luna for Argentina, who we'll see a little bit later tonight. Another. The 2 away will be Kato Masaki. 1 for 1, hit by pitch, a home run, and 2 runs scored.
That's all.
Having himself quite the evening. So it's our first look at Matthew Beckett here in Prince Albert. He did see the mound a number of times for Australia in Group A in Mexico last year. Off the top of the bat, Masaki foul, and he's in a hole 1 and 2.
Well, tough situation for Beckett to come into, but I'm sure some much needed work. Sometimes you are also playing for the future. I know you're running low on arms anyway, but this is the kind of experience that goes a long way to helping these athletes grow and eventually become the leaders of the team. You know, it's the way they've all started.
Foul down the left side.
So you can bet, and hopefully, God willing, there'll be a time when we're talking about how we've seen Beckett come in and show up, and he was just a youngster. Now he's a mainstay and a valuable piece. So
Masaki gets into this one. It's high, it's deep, but it's foul.
Well, you talk about turning on a pitch, and that's exactly what Masaki did, and you can see him doing a whole visualization motion and knowing that that ball was just curved on the other side of the foul pole. Certainly had the distance.
In the dirt, count goes full. Should Masaki reach, Kazuya Toriyama, who is 0 for 2, will will get up for a third time today.
Looking at my scorecard, he might be the only one without a hit.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Well, then I take a look at Sato. I don't think he's got one.
No, there's a couple of guys who don't have one.
But just a couple.
But Toriyama will get a chance here after the 2-out walk issued to Masaki. And we're going to get a pinch runner, Lance. That's going to be Yusuke Sakuraba coming on to run for Masaki. Good chance then that Sakuraba will remain in the game at third base, given the score.
Sakuraba, a big part of this Japanese team in the last World Cup. So this team from Japan has got a lot of returning members from 2022 in New Zealand. And I think that will bode well going forward as they fight for a spot in the super round. If they can advance there, I think that's where you'll find the very slim differences in these teams. Will be the experience of some of the players, how many, and how well they handle the pressure.
First pitch outside corner to Beckett is a strike. Big hack from Toriyama. He'll come up empty.
Well, he wanted that rise ball, and I think he had made a conscious decision that he was going to swing at it if it was anywhere up in the zone, and not quite sure he expected it to be that far up in the zone.
Toriyama sends this high and deep and in to the Prince Albert Knights. Kazuya Toriyama with the exclamation point on top of the underline for Japan in this one.
Well, I told you the Panda was in the house, and he's going to get the bling for his efforts. And I think Beckett wanted to come back with a rise ball, but he didn't get it up high enough. And Toriyama jumped all over it again, and this time he kept it between the lines and over the fence.
The second 5-run inning in this game for Japan. They lead 11-2 with Kotaro Yasumi now at the plate.
Well, you take a look when we talk about the round robin portion of this tournament, you talk about capitalizing on opportunities. And
back up the middle, and that's off the glove of Melander into center field. Yasumi has his second single of the day. And you were saying about capitalizing on opportunities.
Well, it has come back when you get down to teams that are so closely and evenly matched, and you look at coming into this about all the teams that were 1-1, and the scenario where even if you won and went to 2-1, it doesn't guarantee you a spot in the super round because it could come down to the analyticals of things. And that's where you go back and you look and say, well, you know, you missed how many opportunities, how many runners did you leave on base? Those are all opportunities, and I'm not talking about runners on first, I'm talking about runners in scoring position. Those kind of chances really lead up to this point, and they're really magnified once you get to a scenario where one game matters. And you can go back and you can look at a few teams that just weren't able to capitalize as often as they should, maybe even despite the fact that they have a 1-1 record. But when push comes to shove, taking advantage and being efficient is what it's about, and Japan has been as efficient as you can get.
Kanioka fouls it away, and on the other side of the coin, Lance, Australia, the defending world champions, have given up 10 to the USA and now 11 to Japan.
Well, that's the thing, and how do you bounce back from that? Those are numbers. When you start talking double digits in this game, you know, you're talking about lopsided affairs. And really, where are you physically? What are you doing wrong? Mentally, you've got to be stressed because you're trying to figure out what exactly is not going right. And sometimes it's not always about what's going wrong with your team. It's that your opposition is just playing better.
Off on the pitch was Yasumi. He'll move down on a wild pitch. And Japan lands playing for that 12th run because they could get out of here in the bottom of the 4th inning with a run-ahead rule victory.
Well, you can bet the sooner, and you know the rule, the sooner you get off the diamond, the better if you're the winning team, right? And no one has to be out there any longer than they want to be.
Kadioka skies it on the infield. Harrow will call for it and come down with the ball. Japan bats around for the second time in 3 innings and takes an 11-2 lead to the top of the 5th. In order to prolong this, Australia will need to score at least 3 runs. We'll be right back. You're watching the Men's Softball World Cup. So back to the top for Scott Patterson, Callum Bichel, and James Todd Hunter. So Lance, I do want to say that we've been corrected on the pronunciation of Hiroki Ikeda. And I'll try and adjust. Ikeda. Always want to get people's names right.
Well, I do, but in order to do that, I need a confirmed, valuable source that currently is fluent in the language to correct me. I've always known him as Aikida, and I think I'll stick with that. And I'll leave you to stand on your own 2 feet, my good man.
So Patterson reached on a fielder's choice, came around to score in his last at-bat, and the situation is that Australia needs some runs. I mean, it's obvious that they need runs. They're down 11-2, but if they want to prolong this game, they need to keep it to 6 or less, which would mean they need to score at least 3 here.
Well, they haven't been able to do that yet, so we'll see here if Patterson can't help the cause. Whole lot of movement going around. That's got to be just a tad bit of a distraction for the hitters, but that may be part of the ploy in doing it. We see New Zealand do it on the regular, and now Japan, and they sprint back to their spots once they see the sign. Patterson chases a drop ball, swings through it, and there's one away in the top of the 5th. So Callum Bichel will step to the plate. Bichel had an RBI single his last time around. And he's going to flare this one out to second. Tough play. Yasumi on the short hop across for Toriyama. And there's 2 away. Well, that was on the short hop, Chris. A great job there. I thought it may have had a chance to pop out of his glove on the open side, but great job on the lift to keep it in there and get a quick throw over in time. And you don't have a whole lot of time to react, and a good job to get it before it was able to get any higher and change direction. So just a good piece of defense.
First pitch to James Todhunter is across first, right? And Todhunter can't hold up, strike two. Japan looking to clinch its spot at the top of the group and head to the super round. On the ground, Okawa lets it come to him across the diamond. Toriyama stretches and makes the play. And how about Japan rebounding from an opening day defeat to beat two of the best pitchers in the world, Marco Diaz, Jack Besgrove, and they are off to the super round.
Well, if you had any question about Japan, it has been answered here in the last 2 days. They have bounced back after a good sound butt whooping, to use a Canadian term, and they have shown that they have got resiliency, skill, they've got the pitching, they've got the offense in order to contend, and a fantastic result. A run-ahead rule here against the defending champs is a good one, and I tell you, Chris, I was very impressed with what I've seen here from Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I talked about it openly in the preview show. Japan did not look sharp coming into the Four Nations Cup in Saskatoon. They lost on opening day here to the Dominican Republic, and they show some resiliency. Hard-fought win over the U.S., a monster win here over Australia, and Japan is set up very nicely as they head into the Super Round. Well, that'll do it on behalf of my broadcast partner, Lance Witt. Thanks so much for joining us for this game number 11 on the schedule. Coming up at 8:30 local time, that's in an hour and 14 minutes. Argentina will play Canada as we finish the opening round action here in Prince Albert. Thanks once again for joining us, and congratulations to Japan moving on to the Super Round here at the WBSC Men's Softball World Cup.